You won't find this in any book. No school teaches it. And most spiritual teachers don't even know it exists. What you're about to hear was preserved in fragments, hidden beneath symbols, myths, and rituals. And now it's time to piece it back together. Because what if your body wasn't human, but cosmic? What if your brain, your heart, and everything you feel was just a smaller version of something much, much larger? Ancient civilizations that never spoke to each other all said the same thing. And somehow, they were right. Modern science still hasn't figured it out, but you're about to. From the Vedas in India to the Hermetic scrolls of Egypt, to the dreaming songs of Aboriginal Australia, and the great mystery of the Lakota Sioux, ancient civilizations described a structure behind reality. They called it different names, they wrapped it in different symbols, but the shape was always the same. This video is not about metaphor. It's about the structure they all saw, and the one thing they all agreed on. A truth so simple it's hiding in plain sight. A truth so deep, modern science can't even see it. Because this isn't something you find under a microscope. It's something you remember when the illusion starts to crack. To understand the structure of the universe, we have to start by examining the one thing we've always had access to, our own form. Let's begin with something real, not a belief, not a theory, something you live inside of every second of your life. You have a brain, you have a heart, you have a body, and you exist within an environment. The brain is your command center. It stores memory, builds language, processes logic. It takes the raw chaos of sensation and turns it into a story. The heart is different. It's not interested in logic. It doesn't explain. It doesn't analyze. It feels. It moves you. It pushes when the mind says stop and stays still when the mind screams, go. The body is the vessel. It's the house that thought and feeling live in. It anchors you to form. It keeps time. It limits you, and it also lets you experience. And none of these are floating freely. They're embedded in something larger. Your environment, the world around you, the stage where all of it unfolds. Brain, heart, body, world, 4 layers, 4 centers, each distinct, but all part of the same system. Now here's the question almost no one asks. Why this structure? Why not 10 hearts and no brain? Why not a single organ that does everything? Why do you have a center that thinks, and a center that feels, and a vessel that holds them both? Because this isn't just biology. It's architecture. This layout isn't random. It's a design language. One that didn't come from humans. One that might be echoing something much, much older. And this is where we step outside the body. Because the ancient traditions across Egypt, India, Greece, the Americas didn't just worship gods or memorize myths. They were mapping a pattern that starts with you, but doesn't end with you. The Hermetic philosophers called it the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. In other words, what's in you is mirrored in something far greater. So if you have a brain, there might be a cosmic mind. If you have a heart, there might be a cosmic will, a force that feels and chooses. And if you have a body, it might be the reflection of something much larger than a person. Something that contains not just people, but worlds. If your body is a reflection, then something must be casting that reflection. If you have a brain, a heart, and a body, then what does the universe have? What is it thinking through, feeling through, moving through? And here's where the pieces begin to click. Let's start with the brain, the human center of thought, the mirror in the mind. What if I told you that cultures separated by continents and thousands of years all describe the same invisible intelligence? This is where the hermeticists began, with a single radical idea: that the universe itself is mental, that everything we see is the unfolding of thought. Across almost every ancient system, there's a version of this cosmic mind, a vast, invisible field of awareness, intelligence, and origin. In Vedanta, it's called Brahman, the infinite consciousness that underlies everything. Formless, silent, eternal. In hermeticism, it's called the All. Not a god, but the mental field that gives rise to form. All is mind. In Gnosticism, it's Nous, the divine intellect, pure and untouched, the blueprint behind all realities. In Kabbalah, it's Ein Sof, the unknowable infinite, a source so vast it can't even be named. And in the Aztec tradition, it's Ometeotl, the dual god, male and female in one, the formless unity that creates everything from itself. The same concept, again and again. No contact between cultures, no shared scriptures, just the same shape, repeated across the world. Even tribal teachings echo it. The Lakota spoke of Wakantanka, the great mystery. The Aboriginal Australians lived in the dreaming, a realm outside time. The Yoruba spoke of Olodumare, the source that acts through the Orishas. The Inca honored Pachacamac, the invisible animator of all things. This wasn't mythology. This was cosmic architecture, passed down through myth. All of these names point to the same thing: a cosmic mind, not inside the universe, but above it. The universe is not the thinker, it's the thought. So your brain reflects the mind behind existence. But here's where the story breaks from nearly every spiritual system today, because there's something else. A second center, just as powerful. And most teachings never talk about it. But what about the heart? Here's where the ancients go deeper and more dangerous. Because the heart isn't just a pump. It's not cold. It's not logical. It feels, it longs, it knows without proof. And it moves, even when the brain stays still. In the tantric systems, this force is Shakti, the wild energy of consciousness, active, alive, untamed. In Vedanta, it emerges as Vishnu, the preserver of harmony, the balancing principle that keeps all things from collapsing. In Gnosticism, it's Sophia, the divine wisdom who falls and remembers and tries to return. In Kabbalah, it's Binah, the divine womb of understanding, or Shekinah, the felt presence of the divine, dwelling within the world but always reaching for what's beyond it. In Taoism, it appears as Yin, the receptive, nurturing force of reality, balancing the cosmos not through power, but through presence. It's not intellect, it's feeling force, the will to reach, the force that pulls creation into being and then longs to return to the source. But here's what matters. The cosmic heart is not inside the cosmic mind, just like your heart is not inside your brain. They are separate centers, two different functions, two different truths, but they're connected deeply, and their rhythm moves everything. So the ancient structure begins to take shape, brain to mind, heart, will, body to form. You are not just human. You are a living diagram, a diagram that matches something eternal. Now that we see the structure, a brain and a heart mirrored in the cosmos, the next question is inevitable. Where are they? If the universe reflects a larger being, then where is its brain? Where is its heart? And where are you in that structure? You've seen the mirrors, you've seen the ancient names, but now comes the shift that reframes everything. Not what these cosmic centers are, but where they are. The universe is layered, like a Matryoshka doll, nested shells, one inside another. But not all shells are made of matter. The outermost shell, the most expansive, is not physical. It's not made of stars or particles. The outermost shell is consciousness, the cosmic mind. From that field, reality unfolds in stages: vibration, frequency, pattern, energy. And finally, in the innermost core, we get form, matter, time, dimension, decay. What we call the universe is not the beginning. It's the end, the last echo of a much finer song. It is the lowest vibration, the densest part of the structure. Even in the Norse tradition, they saw the cosmos as a tree, Yggdrasil, with realms stacked vertically. Underworld below, Midgard in the middle, and the divine above. Not metaphor, structure. So where is the cosmic mind? It's not suspended inside the stars. The stars are suspended inside it. It exists at a higher plane, not above in space, but beyond space itself. A realm your hands can't reach, but one your consciousness can penetrate. But the heart is not the brain, not in you, not in the cosmos. And this distinction, two separate centers, stands in direct contrast to nearly every modern spiritual teaching. That speaks of a single source, one origin, one divine field. But your own structure tells a different story. You don't have one center, you have two, and they are not nested inside each other. They are distinct, but deeply interconnected. The cosmic heart is not part of the universe, and it is not part of the cosmic mind either. It is something else, a parallel center, not a creator, not a thinker, but a field related to something deeper. Emotion, connection, presence, not logic, not vibration, but a force that feels, that responds, that exists in relation to the mind, not as its child, but as its counterpart. And just like your brain and heart are housed in a body, and that body lives in a world, so too must these two cosmic centers, mind and heart, exist within a greater environment. Some called it the pleroma. Others, para-Brahman, that which even Brahman emerges from. The Ein Sof in Kabbalah, the infinite beyond even divine thought. So now, the map becomes clear. The universe is not the top, it's the bottom. A dense echo, the lowest expression of something far more complex. You are not the center, but you're also not a prisoner. You are positioned within the structure, and you have access to something few ever realize exists, a way to move between these layers. Now that we understand the structure, the question becomes, how are these centers connected? How does the cosmic mind communicate with the cosmic heart? How do you, a structure built within this design, move between its layers? In your body, the answer is simple: blood. It flows from the heart to the brain, carrying oxygen, energy, life, and back again. But in the cosmic body, it's not blood, it's your consciousness. Not thought, not feeling, but the awareness that moves between them. And here's what most people don't realize. That movement is possible. You were born into the lowest vibration, the realm of matter, decay, time, body. But consciousness is not trapped there. It can move, it can rise. And the ancients knew how, not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally. And here's the part almost no one talks about. not even in spiritual circles. Because this structure, it's not just symbolic, there are people who've actually traveled it. In yogic systems, they spoke of the bindu, the point of exit at the top of the skull, not the end of life. The beginning of ascent, the sushumna, the central channel, is not just for energy flow. It's a path from lower vibration to higher vibration. In Gnosticism, this idea was reflected in Sophia's return to the pleroma, the soul's journey through veils of illusion, back to the source beyond thought. In Kabbalah, they describe the light descending from the Ein Sof Or through the Sephirot. But there are also paths upward, traced by the soul, climbing back toward the infinite. Even in more hidden traditions, they spoke of ladders, gateways, vibrational rungs, and thresholds that the mind could pass through, if it knew where to look. And here's the part no one tells you. You don't need a temple. You don't need a monastery. You don't need to give up your life and go live in a cave. You can begin the journey from a silent room, from a seated posture, from a state of stillness so total that it creates motion in another direction. This isn't the meditation they sell in apps. It's not for stress. It's not to clear your thoughts. This is travel. It's conscious, vertical movement, from one layer of the structure into the next. And while the practice is ancient and difficult, the map has always been there. You carry it inside you because you are built from the same design. You've just seen what most people will never even consider, that your brain and your heart are not just organs. They are mirrors, mirrors of something vast, something intelligent, something ancient. You are not just living in the universe. You are a scaled-down expression of it, a map, a miniature, a doorway, built in the image of something infinite. And if this shifted something in you, even slightly, if a thread just started to pull from somewhere deep, let me know. Leave a comment. Tell me what landed. Tell me what you've always felt, but never had words for. And if you learned something you've never heard before, something no book or channel has ever shown you, leave a like. It tells the algorithm this isn't just noise, it's a signal. There are more layers, there are more maps. And if you're still here, you're probably meant to see them.